So, as we were just saying, at the time that we're recording this, it's 3 weeks to go until the Contender Series. By the time this comes out, it'll obviously be a lot closer. But as I mentioned to you then, it's been a long journey to get to this point. And before we get into kind of some of the specifics of that, I wanted to go back and mention the first time that I became aware of you and you going towards this UFC title, because it actually links back to the last time that I saw you in person, which was Cage Warriors in Manchester. Um,
Oh,
so I think that of the core members of Violent Money TV, I think you have insulted I think half of us now, but and all of them in hilarious fashion. I would urge anyone watching this to go back and watch that London live stream because it's one of my favorite interviews I've ever watched.
oh, fuck. What did I say to you? No, I can't remember.
So so you were backstage in Manchester, and they said, "Does anyone want to interview Oban?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it now," because everyone else was busy. And you were like, "Do you know who I am?" Which I was like, "That's hilarious! What a line!" But to go back to, do I know who you are? The first time I
Yeah.
ever spoke to you, I believe. Funnily enough, I'm speaking to Nathan Fletcher later on today, and I think he's the first person I ever interviewed. I think you were the
Oh, yeah.
second. And
Oh,
it was a phone call whilst you were on a building site to talk
yeah,
about
I
the
remember
amateur
the
Grand
phone call.
Prix.
I
So
remember the phone call.
so it goes back, and my lasting memory of that phone call was you saying about I can't remember the guy's name, the replacement opponent you had for the amateur Grand Prix. It was another
Yeah.
Welshman, I think.
Oh, Danny Dixon.
Yeah. And I remember you saying about him being like, "Yeah, we're gonna have a striking war. It's gonna be great." And then you took him down straight away and went
Yeah.
to the camera and said, "Never trust a gangster." And
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay,
Yeah,
all right."
no, that was oh no, that wasn't that was James Lilly.
Oh, was that different? Was that a
James
replacement
Lilly.
opponent as well?
It was almost an exact same fight. But yeah, that was James Lilly. Yeah, that's where the gangster thing started. It was like the most. I think my name was Evil, wasn't it? Evil Oban Elliott, which
It's still that on topology, by the way. I literally just
I
went
know.
on
I
it.
don't know.
Huh.
I don't know who makes them pages. I don't know how to change
No, I
it,
don't know.
but because on the UFC website I'm called Evil as well. It's a bit annoying, but so yeah, that's they were like because he took the fight on short. Yeah, James Lee took the fight on short notice, and he was like, "Yeah, we'll see how much of we're both gangsters for doing this. A week out, we'll have a striking war. Let's see how much of a gangster is if he stands toe to toe with me." And I was like, yeah, 100%, bro. Meet you in the middle of the octagon, and then that's when uh my my pre-fight interview was. I said, James Lilly thinks I'm a cop out if I shoot for a takedown in this fight, but rule number one: never trust a gangster. And then I said it on the thing, and then it's a good nickname to have, I guess, because it's mad how I get away with calling myself that. It's like a bit of a ridiculous nickname in a way, but I mean the way I kind of the character I kind of portray, I guess, kind of fits.
Yeah, I mean, to go back to the London live stream that you did with us before the UFC card, it all goes off the rails as soon as the Energizer boys jumped in the chat and started mentioning your new car. And the thing that stuck with me from that is them saying, "Go on, the Welsh gangster joyriding around Abertillery," which is just a
Yeah,
hilarious image that again is like it's so ridiculous. The
that's
Welsh
basically what I
gangster.
do.
But it suits it so well. And again, to go back to
Yeah, like that on my
the
phone, like that.
like
And
going back as
I've
long
just
as that.
got 50 Cent. I've just got 50 Cent in the club on repeat driving around.
Just over and
I
over.
was trying to remember plate, just driving really. Nah, I'm not. I don't really do that. But yeah,
It's just I feel like the whole Welsh gangster thing, and also the fact that you've slagged off the half of the VM crew. It's like I'm not surprised at this point because it felt like
Oh, bro.
This was you
I
were the
mean,
same way the first time I spoke to you as you are now.
yeah. So, I mean, well, exactly. Is I'm not. It's just
Well,
fucking. But it's just banter, mate. Like, and do you know in during this fucking, when I was coming through Cage Warriors, and no disrespect to Cage Warriors, I got no plans of going back there. So I'll say in this way, like in my Cage Warriors days, because I don't want to be. I'm not even considering fucking losing this fight and going back. But in my Cage Warriors days, they just can't take the banter, mate. They just fucking. You got a bunch of cage fighters, right? Who are soft little jujitsu fucking just gimps, nerds. Just someone who you'd see at a pub and you think, who the fuck are you? Like, you know what I mean? Someone like a local hard man would look down on in a pub kind of thing because they're just soft, mate. There's fucking you can't have a little wind up thing. You can't take the piss because then they just can't. There's get to the fucking big leagues. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. But I'm just like I've always just had fun with it. Took the piss. Used a couple of fucking one-liners and that, and I've just rattled everybody I've come across on my way. So I guess like my personality mixed in with my fucking what would you call my nickname? Like a exaggerated nickname, but it's just kind of worked out. Ian Dean actually come up with it officially, as I didn't want a nickname. Nobody called me Evil. I gave myself Evil when I was like 18. Because I like Iron Mike Tyson. So I wanted Evil Oban Elliott, Iron Mike Tyson. I wanted the 2 syllables. And because it was illiterate with fucking Elliott, I thought it worked. But then, before the McManus fight, have you ever seen Spider-Man?
mm-hmm.
Before he's about to walk out and he goes, "The human spider. What the fuck is that? Ladies and gentlemen, Spider-Man." And then the day before the fight, I said, "What's we having for a nickname?" I said, "I don't know." And then Ian Dean went, "The Welsh Gangster." And he said, "Really?" And he went, "Yeah, the Welsh Gangster." I was like, "Oh, all right, go on then." And then since then, I've actually been officially called it.
Oh,
Not
wow,
even
Ian
2 years. It's coming up 2 years now. But yeah, and now we're fucking one good fight away from being a UFC fighter, mate. Fucking come on, innit? I've waited all my life for this.
I
Been
can't
talking about.
imagine. I can't imagine you not being the Welsh gangster. So I mean, he made a good call because it feels like it
Yeah,
stuck so perfectly.
it's a good fucking name. I'm landing with a nickname.
Yeah. You said about how the plan obviously is to not ever need to go back to Cage Warriors. I remember there was a point in time where it felt like you might not ever go back to Cage Warriors, but not because of not wanting to, but the
Yeah.
injuries and all of that with
Oh, fucking hell, mate. I know.
where and I'm sure you've spoken. I think I might have spoken to you about this at some point during that process as well about like everything that was going on, but like to
Yeah.
not only come through that and keep fighting, but then to come through it, have the best run of your career, and then the Contender Series call up.
Because it's a fuck you to everyone who fucking thought they had a clue what was going on or doubted me. It's a massive. I think about this quite more often than I've done. It's a big fuck you to everyone who tried writing me off. All these gimps I was just talking about. These nerds you wouldn't even look twice at in the pub. You know what I mean? Think they fucking know anything. Like, my first loss, mate, is the most illegitimate loss in the fucking history of combat sports, in my opinion. But I take on the chin. I deem myself fit to get in there, but the only reason I deem myself fit enough to compete was just out of sheer I was just it was almost immature. I was just thinking, I'd never lost at that point. I'll be all right. Yeah, I'll be all right. Tough guy, pretty dumb. And for who I was fighting, I would have never in a million years I would have rather gone in like I did than pull out. That's the type of man I am. I'd have rather gone in like I did than pull out, because at least I had the chance to fucking. At least I had a chance to bang him. Do you know what I mean? But that whole year you're talking about then, where I'm in and out of a fucking hospital, mate, with appointment after appointment, with a heart monitor strapped to me. Do you know how fucking demoralising that was, mate? After my first career defeat. And all it would have took is I had these pains on my fucking left side for like 3 weeks before. All it would have took was for me to go to the hospital in the run up to that, get a fucking scan, and I'd have been pulled before the fight. But I thought, whatever it is, I don't want to know at this point. I just whatever. But in and out of hospital with that was a fucking rough time. I was really rough, and then I got cleared to fight, cleared to compete. Thanks to Dan Hardy, he kind of told me the ways around the condition and what you got to get, what you need from certain doctors. So he did the hard work for me, really, in that respect. And then
I in all the years I've been doing interviews, that's never happened. But my power, I think, just shut off. But so the last thing I caught was you saying that Dan Hardy did a lot of the heavy lifting in order to get you back in there.
Yeah, he did big time, mate. If you just bear with me a sec, some dickhead is part of the mate. I told you to move earlier. Yeah, but now it doesn't mean I can't. Do you know what I mean? I can't get out. Fucking hell. See? Fucking dick. Anyway, sorry, bro.
I honestly
told him to move. I did pull forward earlier. So what? I'm only allowed out my fucking drive once a day. According to Mr. fucking Murphy. Clown. But anyway, how are you, brother? Dan Hardy, yeah. Dan Hardy fucking... He did the fucking... I don't even... He sent me just like... It's almost like instructions of what the doctors need to give me. Do you know what I mean? So I got exactly that. Because the doctors didn't know what the fuck they were meant to say. They were adamant on that I should never fight again. So if I didn't have someone who's already gone through it, it would have took me as long as Dan, as long as it took Dan. It took Dan a fucking long time. It took me like 6 months. So, yeah.
One of the things that I have picked up on from watching a few interviews that you've done in the lead up to this fight, and I'm interested to find where the root of this has come from. Is you seem to have a thing that you think the Contender Series is like undervalued, like not undervalued, that's the wrong word, but kind of looked down upon by some people.
Yeah.
And I wonder where this has come from, because personally I love the Contender Series. I think it's great.
I'm me. It's like everyone's like, oh, they get you on a 10, and it's the UFC's way of getting people in on a cheaper contract. Like, and fucking hell, it's not a cheap contract. You know what I mean? It's what, 10, and fucking hell, I put my phone on doing disturb for a reason, bro. 2 seconds, mate.
Yeah, no worries.
Can you see me?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, yeah, like people are saying, like, oh, it's the UFC's way of getting them in on a cheaper deal. It's like, it's really not. It's a fucking you fight. I don't know. Like when George Hardwick got called up, everyone was like slating it, but George isn't going in on like a B as a B side, like a lot of people are. Like the people will be going in like they'll be fighting a Brazilian guy in Brazil, and they'll be coming out in the blue corner.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, or like, fucking hell. Perfect example is the in. They're going over to France to fight a French boy in France, and it's like, who do they want to win there? You know what I mean? But that's not to say that they're not going to do a job. But you come through the Contender Series and then you're the A side on like a fucking pay-per-view card on the prelims. You're in the red corner. You got this. You're coming through. It's kind of based around you. You're not coming in filling someone else's shoes, fighting on somebody else's card. You know what I mean? So I'm happy either way. I wouldn't care how I got in, but there's nothing wrong with coming through this way. I don't know. People are spoilt, man. The biggest organization in the world, the UFC, and people are going, "Oh yeah, but you got to fight for your contract." Yeah, fucking the same way, Leona Lewis had the same deal on the X Factor. She doesn't, you know what I mean?
Oh, I think you're back. I just lost you for a sec. I think it might have just been that area that you drove through. So I missed the Leona Lewis bit. I caught the end of it, but that was about it.
Yeah, I just said it was like Leona Lewis singing for a fucking record deal on the X Factor. It's like whatever, innit?
Yeah, no, I get you.
How is this a bad opportunity? Yeah,
I think as well. I think it's perfect. Like the argument with George was, I feel like everyone felt like he proved himself time and time again.
Yeah, but
already.
what you got to see is right. The other guys are going over to fucking France to fight a French boy in France in the red corner. Do you know, in the blue corner? Do you know what I mean? So like, what would you like? Everybody knows what that means. They've got a UFC Paris card with a load of French, and like, I like you're talking about George Harbert coming through the Contender Series. I think these Irish boys who've just got signed, Reese in particular, on UFC Boston in the red corner fighting some Japanese guy.
Yeah.
Why does he have to go to France and fight a French guy? Seems a bit, a bit fugazi about what's going on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I guess he hasn't had to do the Contender Series then, has he? But I don't know. I don't like the way they've done that.
Yeah, I get what you mean. And I mean, in George's case, he literally got offered that in the last Paris card and he turned it down.
Yeah, and he's got every right to be like, nah, fuck off. What, am I going to go fight a French guy in France on my debut and be brought in as meat for the French boys and the French fans? Do you know what I mean? I like that's what you got. People aren't seeing that. People literally don't get that side of the business clearly. But George has got this Contender Series thing now. Same as me. We come away with massive fucking wins, and then we're fucking on the undercard of UFC 300 because we've already got our fucking face out there in America. Oh, but the Contender Series is shit. What fucking planet are you on? Do you know what I mean?
Mate, I agree with you. I think the Contender Series is phenomenal, and I think that
you know what? I give you a little scoop on the business end, didn't I?
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't thought of it like that before. I just like the Contender Series because it feels like the Ultimate Fighter, where you would get to learn about the fighter and then watch them fight, and so it feels like you know them already before you've seen them fight.
The thing is, I never watched it. See, so when they did all my interviews, mate. Well, they did my interview, mate. My interview on there is like, fucking, I don't know what they're gonna show, but it was, mate, it was fucking deep. It was deep. So, like, I don't want to spoil anything, but it was fucking deep, mate. You can see how much it means to me on there. So, you guys are all parked up now. But yeah, it's a cool show, and they treat you like fucking royalty. You know what I mean? Even though you're not signed, they treat you like royalty. And when you get the chat off Jeff Nowitzki, he makes you realize like this is a massive, this is a huge deal. This is
Mm.
a huge to be a part of this. So it does make you makes you I'm like one of how many? I'm like one in a million getting called up for this. I literally when you think of it like that, like you got how many weeks? There's 5 fights on my night, and out of all the MMA fighters in the world, I'm one of 10 on that particular night who's going to be competing for a fucking UFC contract. Like, that's mad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. That it,
So,
it's always exciting
yeah.
because to have a
Into
few
that.
like UK guys on because like you said, it feels like oh, to people that follow Cage Warriors and stuff, of course they know all about you. They know all about George. We've been watching you guys fight through the promotion for years, and then it's suddenly like, well, now you're going into this big pond where there are thousands and thousands of fans that have never got to see you compete before that are now going to find out all about you. And through
Mm.
the promos and stuff that they film, they're going to get to know all about your career, why you fight, all of this stuff. I'm sure they're going to get some vintage Welsh gangster punchlines in there
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah.
it's gonna
I
be
didn't go over
gonna
that.
be a good one.
I didn't go over there the other week to fucking shake hands and be all like, "Oh, hello. Oh my God, what an honor. What an honor. I can't believe it." I said, fucking, where's the money, boys? You know what I mean? I am here to, you will have to fucking kill me before I let this opportunity slip through my fucking fingers, mate. This Brazilian, Kaik Brito, or however his name is properly pronounced, is gonna absolutely have to beat the fucking shit out of me. He's gonna have to beat the shit out of me because if he doesn't, he's not gonna win. He's gonna have to beat the snot out of me the entire for every second of every round. If he thinks he's walking out of there with a contract, I kind of feel sorry for him in a way because he's a fucking good 20 fight veteran, champion, all that, but he's just come across the one guy who, if it was me, I would think, oh mate, can't I just have the guy who can't I just fight the guy who did jujitsu for a bit of fun and then stumbled on the MMA path and then now he's fighting in a regional promotion. Now he's had the call up. Oh my God, I've been dreaming and picturing and fucking chomping at the bit to do this for fucking years, mate. Last night I was on a fucking, I trained twice. I did my 9 o'clock and my 5 o'clock sessions yesterday. Then I had to go and do a fucking night shift all night out on fucking a railway track. Thanks to the boys and the supervisors, he let me go on the gate at about 4 in the morning where I just got my head down in the van. But, that fucking mate, I could be half the fighter I am and still be a nightmare because of how much I want this, mate. I could be a third of the fighter I am and still be a nightmare for someone. But I'm one of the fucking best boys around, and because don't have a fucking belt over my shoulder, it doesn't mean that I'm not that guy. And I feel like this is my chance to prove I'm that guy. I am gonna do it, mate. I am gonna do it with my dead fucking body. Am I gonna lose this fight? Honest to God, getting
I
fired up here, even talking about it. Fucking hell.
I feel like there's no better way to leave that, honestly, than everything
Yeah.
you just said. You summarized it all.
Getting all fired up, mate. I got tears in my eyes, and I'm about to do my strength and conditioning class now.
Well, I guess the one benefit is you left a bit early, so you got a bit of time before that, I guess. But
Mate, I swear to God.
from all of the guys at VM, obviously we're all rooting for you, mate. We can't wait to see it, and thank you for all the time that you've always given us ahead of this
That's all
moment.
right,
And
mate.
it's been a crazy journey to watch you go through it and to get to this point, but it feels
I'll
like
do it, mate.
it's the time. It's the time.
And if I don't, I'll be close to dying trying. So either way, I'm happy.
I wouldn't
So,
expect anything less from you, mate. Thank you
yeah.
so much for the time again, mate, and all the best for 3 weeks' time.
Thank you, brother. Top man.
I apologize for the internet going out as well. I should mention that. But yeah,
The
nice one,
what?
bro. For my internet going out, I can't believe that
Ah,
happened.
sorry, mate. Fucking hell, I don't care. Sound,
But
bro.
yeah,
Of course. Anytime.
nice one. Catch you later, mate.
No problem, bro. See
Cheers.
you